Hello friends, what's up? Let us continue taxes in India, and we have been discussing the topic of GST from the last 2-3 videos. Let us continue that. GST is a very important topic, friends, and that's why we are dedicating 2, 3, 4 videos to it, because this is a recent topic and a lot of current affairs is also around GST. So I just wanted to explain to you all the basic concepts of GST, so that once the basic concept is clear to you, any current affairs that appears in the newspaper or anywhere else, you can easily follow them, you can easily understand what is happening. So let us continue with GST. In this particular video we will discuss the different GST rates. Okay, so as I have told you in the previous video, that in India there are 4 slabs of GST total. There is not a one single rate of GST. We all know that there are different rates for different commodities, different items, different services. So we will study what are the different items into different categories, because many a times UPSC has asked question as to on what items GST will be levied and what items GST won't be levied. So we need to understand, it is a bit tricky, and we'll try to understand how to remember those things. So there are 4 major slabs which cover nearly 500 services and more than 1300 goods. Okay, so there is a list which is present on the GST portal of different services and different goods which will come into different slabs of GST. So they have enumerated about 1300 goods and more than 500 services. It is impossible to remember all these 1800 things, okay, which will fit where, but we can use little bit logic as to which is fitting where, and we can remember some of the major and important things. So what are these 4 slabs? One is 5%, second is 12%, 18% and 28%. As we all know, this is the combined GST rate. Out of this is equally divided into CGST and SGST. So whenever the goods are being taxed at 5%, it means that there is a CGST of 2.5% and SGST of 2.5%. Similarly for 12% it's 6.6, 18% is 9.9, and for 28% it is 14.14, like this. So this is basically the different slab rates. There are also many essential goods and services. Essential meaning which are essential to survive, to live a life, and which poor people also use. So our government of India, our government has given exemptions to such goods, and they are taxed at 0%. So there is a 0% tax on such goods. Okay, there is no GST at all, in order to make the system a little less regressive, so that the commodities which are used more by the poor people, okay, they are not taxed at all, or they are taxed at a very low rate. So that is the intention. Now, already discussed, GST Council is the body which discusses all these matters, and which decides which items should be placed under which category of slab. Okay, so it can move from an item which was previously in 18% to 12%, or vice versa. It can move from 12% to 28%. So periodically GST Council sits. Recently, I think the 46th or 44th meeting of GST Council has happened, and they have revised a lot of things. You can see that in current affairs, and it revises the items under each slab rate at a regular basis. So depending on the market conditions, on the different feedbacks from industry and businesses that the finance ministry and other stakeholders are receiving, so they will revise the items under each category. Now let us look at these rates. So no tax, first of all, where there is a 0% GST, which are exempted list. So it covers about 7% of all goods and services. So out of this total 1800 goods and services, about 7% of goods and services are included in this category, so which have been exempted, which are considered to be the essential commodities, essential services. Okay, and they are not taxed at all. So what are these? You don't need to remember all this, but just for if you watch this video like 2-3 times, I think somewhere it will fit in your subconscious mind. and if a question comes, then automatically you will be able to answer it. That's why I'm making this video. Okay, so what are the products, what are the services which have been exempted from GST? So fresh fruits, vegetables, milk, buttermilk, okay, natural honey, curd meaning dahi, flour means atta, okay, in Hindi also I'm telling you, besan, bread. Besan is basically the flour of chana dal, okay, of the Bengal gram, I guess. Then bread, all kinds of salts, okay, different kinds of salts are there, so all are exempted. Jaggery meaning good. Then hulled cereal grains, okay, the cereal grains meaning, hulled meaning the removal of the outside cover. So there is a, this is a cereal and there is a cover on it. So if this cover is removed in the mills, so it is known as hulled cereal grain. So those are also exempted. Then fresh meat, fish, chicken, eggs, bindi, used by women, sindoor, kajal, bangles, drawing and coloring books, stamps, judicial papers, printed books, okay, these are also exempted. Newspapers, jute and handloom, hotels and lodges with tariff less than 1000 per day. Okay, so if the per day tariff on any lodge or hotel is less than 1000, then they are also exempted. They are considered to be the economy hotels or lodges, and they are completely exempted for the poor people. So this is from the consideration that poor people use these items and these services, so basically they are exempted. Now, what are the items which are covered under 5% rate? So GST rate is 5% for this item, and there are a total of 14% of commodities. So out of 1800 goods and services, 14% goods and services are covered under this category. Okay. So what are these items? Clothing under 1000 rupees. So कपड़े जो 1000 रुपए के नीचे जिनकी कीमत है, okay, cloth which have price less than 1000 rupees, they are covered under 5%. Then footwear under 500 rupees, okay, चप्पल जूते जिनकी 500 से कम कीमत है. Packaged food items, okay, food items which are packaged, okay, which are sold after doing some processing, and which are packaged. Then cream, skimmed milk powder, okay. Skimmed milk powder, so there is a milk powder, skimmed meaning the fat is removed from it. Then branded paneer, frozen vegetables, coffee, टी, स्पाइसेस, पिज्ज़ा ब्रेड, रस्क मीनिंग जो टोस्ट हम बोलते हैं वो, साबूदाना, कैश्यू नट इन शेल, रेजिन मीन्स मनुक्का, आइस, फिश फिलेट, केरोसिन, कोल, मेडिसिन्स, अगरबत्ती, पोस्टेज एंड रेवेन्यू स्टैम्प्स. ओके, सो हियर वी हैव सीन these are basically the stamp papers, एंड हियर दिस आर द पोस्टेज स्टैम्प्स, ओके, जो हम लेटर में, एनवेलप में जो हम लोग लगा के भेजते हैं. एंड फर्टिलाइजर्स, दिस आर ऑल टैक्स्ड एट 5% GST. Okay, you will notice here that the food items of different food items are mentioned in different categories. Some food items are exempted also, some are charged at 5% also, 18% also, 12% also. So we will see that. Then let us look at the list of 12% GST. So it covers about 17% of goods and services. Again, out of 1300 goods plus 500 services, 17% is included in this category, 12% category. Now what are these? These are frozen meat products, butter, cheese, ghee, packaged dry fruits, animal fats, sausages, fruit juices, namkeen, ketchup and sauces, Ayurvedic medicines, all diagnostic kits. See, medicines, we see that it was in 5% category, but Ayurvedic medicines are in 12% category. Then all diagnostic kits, cell phones, spoons, forks, tooth powder, sewing machine means silai machine, okay, silai machine. So see friends, this is spelled as SEWING, but its pronunciation is sewing, okay, you should know this. It is not sieving machine, it is sewing machine. Then playing cards, जो पत्ते होते हैं खेलने के, चेस बोर्ड, कैरम बोर्ड, लूडो एट्सेट्रा. एपरल्स अबाउट 1000 रुपीज़. सो कपड़े जो 1000 रुपये से ज़्यादा है, दे आर ऑल्सो टैक्स्ड एट 12%. Now let us look at 18% slab rate. So it covers 43% of all goods and services. So see, the maximum goods are covered in this category, 43%. So out of 1800 goods and services, 43% of goods and services means about 800 products, 800 goods and services are within this category. 43% of goods and services are within 18% category. Now what are these goods and services? So these are pasta, biscuits, cornflakes, pastries, cakes, preserved vegetables, jams, soups, ice creams, mayonnaise, mixed condiments meaning masale, mineral water, footwear more than 500 rupees. Okay, हमने देखा था footwear less than 500 rupees. Okay, यहाँ पर so footwear under 500 rupees was 5% rate, but if it is more than 500 rupees footwear, then it is taxed at 18%. Then cameras, speakers, monitor, printers, optical fiber, transformers, tissues, sanitary napkins, notebooks. Okay, printed books were exempted, but notebooks are taxed at a lower rate. We have seen here, see, printed books were 0%, whereas the notebooks are taxed at 18%. Then steel products, aluminium foil, bamboo furniture, AC restaurants that serve liquor. Okay, restaurants that serve liquor which is air conditioned, restaurants in 5-star and luxury hotels again 18%, and telecom services. So these are all taxed at 18%. Friends, you just watch this video 2-3 times again and again, and you just try to listen to it. Automatically it will fit into your memory. Okay, then 28%, this is the highest tax rate, and about 19% of goods and services are involved. Out of 1800, about 19% of goods and services, meaning about 350 goods and services are included into this category. Now what are these? Then the remaining edibles. Okay, खाने की जो बाकी की चीज़ें such as chewing gum, बीड़ी, molasses, chocolate. So these are mostly sin products. If you see, okay, sin products. बीड़ी, molasses, chocolate that doesn't contain cocoa, waffles, wafers coated in chocolate, pan masala, aerated water, deodorant, shaving cream, aftershave, hair shampoo, dye, sunscreen, paint, water heater, dishwasher, weighing machine, washing machine, vacuum cleaner, automobiles, motorcycles, 5-star hotel stays. Okay, if you want to stay in 5-star hotel, 28% GST, race club, betting, private lottery, movie tickets. These are all the high-end products, high-end things which rich people will consume, rich people will use. So they are taxed at the highest rate. Okay, so these are the different categories. Now there are two separate special categories. One is the 3% GST on gold and silver and pearls and imitation jewelries and coins also. Coin means जो सिक्के होते हैं चांदी के, सोने के. So silver and gold coins, pearls, silver, imitation jewelry and gold. If you purchase gold from any gold shop, any jewelry shop, then 3% GST will be levied. And if there is a making charge also, meaning if you are purchasing some jewelry of gold, then they will charge GST on that making also. It is a kind of service, and they can charge it from 5 to 8%. It depends from one state to another. So this is a special GST rate. Then there is a 0.25% GST on cut and semi-polished stones also. So these two are the special GST rates which don't fit into these categories. Now there are certain MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises who are very small and they cannot comply with GST, because see, in GST every business who is registered with GST, it has to upload its invoice 3 times a month. Okay, 3 times a month. So per month it has to do it 3 times. So for it includes a lot of costs. You need to hire manpower, you need to hire a CA, okay, you need to have people doing it, you need to have computers. So there are many small businesses which cannot do it every month, so many compliances it cannot meet. So there is a composition scheme also of the government for such MSMEs. Now what is this composition scheme? In very simple terms I will explain to you. GST composition scheme is basically for MSMEs, for people who cannot file monthly returns, okay, 3 times a month. So they have to file once in a quarter. Once in a quarter means once in a 3 months, okay, once in 3 months. देखिए यहाँ पे है महीने में 3 बार, okay, 3 times a month, and here it is once in 3 months. So the compliance has reduced. They have to pay tax at a flat rate of turnover. So they don't have to really upload the invoices. They don't have to care about the input tax credit and all those things. They just have to pay a flat rate of GST of their turnover. For example, if their turnover is say 1 crore rupees, so and they will pay 1% of GST on it. So they will just pay 1 lakh rupees GST per annum, like that. So there is no input tax credit, nothing. They just pay a flat rate of GST. Every quarter they have to pay it. Now who are eligible for it? So eligible people are those who have a turnover of less than 1.5 crore per annum. So if your turnover of any company, any MSME, if it is less than 1.5 crore, turnover meaning the total business, the total revenue, okay, after selling whatever the total revenue you receive, it is known as turnover. It is not the profit. Profit is different from turnover. Turnover is basically whatever the sale proceeds, whatever the revenue you receive. After that, you subtract the cost of your goods or your cost price, and then you receive the profit. So turnover is basically the revenue you receive, and if it is less than 1.5 crore or maximum 1.5 crore up to 1.5 crore, less than or equal to 1.5 crore, then you are eligible for this GST composition scheme. And this eligibility criteria is reduced in northeastern states. It is only 75 lakhs. So if you are a business in northeastern states, then your revenue should be less than 75 lakhs if you want to fit in the composition scheme. And it is only for within state transactions. It is not for interstate transactions. If you are doing transactions interstate from one state to another, for example Gujarat to Rajasthan or any other interstate transactions, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. It is only intrastate, within the state. Whether or not your revenue is more than 1.5 crore or not, you will have to be registered as a GST if you want to do interstate business. Now, what is the tax rate under the composition scheme? Tax rate is 1% for traders and manufacturers. Okay, for goods manufacturer and traders. Traders meaning people who do trading, shopkeepers and all those things. So it is 1% for them, 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST. It is a flat rate. And it is for restaurants, it is 5%. These are the service providers. Okay, for services there are two rates. For restaurants it is 5%. Restaurants again which are not serving alcohol. Okay, this restaurant should not be serving alcohol. If they are serving alcohol, then they will automatically fit into the GST. They are not eligible. And 6% for other service providers. Okay, 6% for other service providers. So these are the two rates for service providers. And this tax has to be paid by the supplier, by the businessman, by the business owner, whoever is the owner of that MSME, and they cannot collect it from the consumer. So in their bill, so if they are selling, say if a restaurant is billing, and if it is it has to pay 5% flat GST under composition scheme, so on that bill they cannot charge a GST of 5%. Okay, they cannot do it. So clearly it has to be mentioned on the top of bill that this bill is not under the GST and we are not taxing you GST. Like that it has to be mentioned. That is a rule. Okay, so they cannot collect it from the consumers. They have to pay it from their own profits. So whatever is their profit, they have to pay it from that. Again, people will obviously recover it from the customers by increasing their prices and all that, but legally and on paper they cannot do it. Now let us study one more important topic of GST, which is a GST EWay Bill system. Okay, this is another important thing. So after the implementation of GST, almost after 1 year, okay, this EWay Bill system has also come. So as we can see, it is a bill system for transportation. It started from 1st April 2018. Now what is this EWay Bill system? It is for moving goods from one place to another. You have to generate a EWay Bill. Okay, it has to be generated online. You can generate it through the app, or you can also generate it from the internet. So it has to be generated if the movement is within the state or outside the state. No matter what, if it is the intrastate or interstate movement, you have to generate the EWay bill. And the movement, the transportation of good it should be in the motorized vehicle. Okay, it should be in the automobile. It should not be like on a bicycle or just on a thela gadi. So those kind of movement does not require EWay bill. But if it is happening in motorized vehicle, then you have to generate a EWay bill. Now when? So you have to generate EWay bill when the value of goods in vehicle exceeds rupees 50,000. यदि 50,000 से ज़्यादा के goods आप ट्रांसपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, whether it is one invoice, whether it is one bill or multiple bills combined. So if the total value of goods in a vehicle is more than 50,000, then you have to mandatorily generate EWay bill. There are certain goods and products where the value, even if the value is less than 50,000, you have to generate EWay bill. For example, handicraft items. Okay, handicraft items के लिए you have to generate EWay bill even if the value is less than 50,000. Now, when do you have to generate the EWay bill? When the transportation of good is for the supply purpose. What is the meaning of supply purpose? So basically, you are selling the goods from one registered GST businessman to another registered GST businessman. Okay, from one place to another. So this is selling of goods from registered GST person to another registered GST person. Or if there is a returning of goods, sometimes the one businessman returns good to the another businessman. For example, retailer is returning goods to the wholesaler. So at that time also they have to generate the EWay bill. Then inward supply. Inward supply meaning if an unregistered businessman, unregistered company is selling goods to the registered company. Okay, so it is a responsibility of registered company at that time as a receiver of the good, as a recipient of the good, to have the EWay bill generated. So it is known as inward supply. EWay bill also has to be generated for branch transfer purpose. As I have told you in the previous video, warehousing consolidation, there may be a branch transfer, like for example from one warehouse to another warehouse, one company is transporting its goods. So for that purpose also they have to generate the EWay bill. So all this these are the conditions. GST registered persons, unregistered persons, transporters all must generate the EWay bill. It is compulsory whenever there is a movement of good, they have to generate if the value is more than 50,000. And it has to be generated before the movement of goods. Okay, before the movement of goods commences, EWay bill has to be generated. This is a requirement. There are certain exemptions to generation of EWay bills. Okay, there are certain exemptions given in which condition you don't need to generate EWay bill. So for example, the first condition is that when the value is less than 50,000, this is one exemption that is already I have already told you. But a person can choose to generate EWay bill even if a value is less than 50,000. Okay, so he can generate EWay bill in that case also, but it is exempted. Now, what are the different exemptions? Goods transported for custom clearance. Okay, if there is a customs clearance on any port or airport, then and if a goods are getting transported for getting it clear from the customs, then EWay bill is not required, because sometimes the customs office, the custom clearance office is say 20 kilometers, 50 kilometers away from the port. So at that time that movement does not require custom clearance. Then the goods which are under customs seals or supervision, again they don't need EWay bill generation. And then transit cargo from and to Nepal and Bhutan. So if there is a transit cargo which is coming from Nepal or going to Nepal or Bhutan, then in that case also EWay bill is not necessary. So transit cargo basically means that these are just transiting from Nepal or Bhutan, okay, through Nepal or Bhutan. So they don't need. So transiting means they are not originating in Nepal or Bhutan, but they are just coming from Nepal and Bhutan. So say for example, if they are coming via roadway, say for example Myanmar, okay. So from Myanmar it first enters Bhutan, say, and then from Bhutan it enters India. I'm just giving you an example. So this is known as a transit cargo. Then Ministry of Defense as consignor or consignee. So if the goods are getting transported or on behalf of Ministry of Defense of India, then they don't need the EWay bill. Empty cargo containers. If empty cargo containers are getting transported, then there is no need of EWay bill. Transportation to weigh bridge within 20 kilometers. So for example, if a good is getting transported to a weigh bridge for its weighing, then and if the weigh bridge is within 20 kilometers, then they don't need to generate EWay bill. If the consignor is a state, central or local government, okay, and transportation is by railways, again they don't need EWay bill generation. And then there are certain exempt goods. There is a list of goods which are exempted. Different states have different rules also. They have made their own rules. So basically EWay bill system was adopted by different states at different times. Most of the states already have EWay bill system for within the state transportation. For outside the state, interstate, obviously EWay bill system is mandatory. So almost every state has EWay bill system now. And with this we end the GST topic. I hope you have understood GST topic. I have tried to cover each and every aspect of GST, and you watch these videos maybe 2-3 times, so that if any concept is not clear, it will be cleared in 2-3 times. So thank you again. We will start with a new topic in the next lesson. Thank you.